Socialism, noun. Conservative definition: evil, liberty-stealing, and satanic. Liberal definition: anything government does that helps people. Non-radical leftist: depending on the person, it can be in a system to fill in the gaps that capitalism naturally creates, or a process to convert over to a bottom-up government that provides for everyone. Extreme radical leftist: a way to get to communism, comrade. Phrase: property is theft. Conservative definition: they're gonna take away my toothbrush. Liberal definition: a non-viable idea that everything should be shared. Non-radical leftist definition: a quote by Pierre-Joseph Proudhon discussing Roman-style property where a person was allowed to own a piece of land and use it or abuse it as he saw fit and could accumulate the means of production as ownership so that others were at a serious disadvantage, specifically due to the scarcity of land and means of production. Property did not extend to anything made physically by one's own labor. When money started getting accumulated and giving one a disadvantage to fair wages for labor over another, that became theft. Extreme radical leftist: guillotine all bourgeoisie and take their property to distribute it to be used by all. Communism, noun. Conservative definition: brutal, evil, and satanic. Also Nazi. Liberal definition: looks good on paper. Non-radical leftist definition: a word that used to be synonymous with socialists until dictators decided to abuse it and try and get support from the working peoples and the unions. It was also supported by Western capitalist governments to equate with totalitarian dictatorship. Extreme radical leftist definition: a perfect system to destroy the capitalist pigs. All communist nations were great. Viva la revolution. Planned economy, not free market. Capitalism, noun. Conservative definition: the only true divine form of economics handed down directly by Jesus Christ himself. Liberal definition: the free market, best if heavily regulated. Non-radical leftist definition: a system where people can invest wealth or capital and get and accumulate money without putting any actual labor in or producing the goods or services themselves. They use the labor of others to unfairly gain wealth until they have all the money, resources, and means of production and political power. Extreme radical leftist: a system that must be crushed. Phrase: taxation is theft. Conservative definition: true freedom and patriotism. Liberal definition: something said by whiny, greedy adult children who want other people to die so they can have more money. Non-radical leftist definition: propaganda said by whiny capitalist, greedy adult children who want other people to die so they can have more money and ignore the fact that wealthy people got their wealth in the first place by rigging the labor exchange system. Extreme radical leftist definition: bourgeoisie propaganda that must be fought in our glorious revolution. Violence. Conservative definition: violence is awesome against people I don't like, unless it happens against me or my people and then I'm being persecuted. Liberal definition: an unprovoked assault from a perpetrator for any reason. The response to this, depending on the situation, could be self-defense or direct defense of others, or non-violence if it is system-wide. Note, this is the American English definition of violence. Non-radical leftist definition: any act where harm is used on another person. This could mean any act of aggression or pure self-defense. Note that this is the British English definition, but trolls can whip up this confusion of what the word means to both split the liberals and the left, and as an attempt to radicalize the extreme left. Extreme radical leftist definition: violence is awesome against people I don't like, unless it's happening against me or my people and then I'm being persecuted. As you can see, there is a massive language barrier between the gradients between left and right. In America, leftists are resurrecting an incredibly baby movement that was utterly crushed during the Red Scare, and we forgot all about their long history in America, and how they gave us labor unions and labor laws, and all we really know about them are straw men and lies. But they're also so insular and use old phrases that's obvious to the leftists who know the original writings, but that ends up freaking out old people who might be sympathetic if they knew what they actually meant. Leftist terminology is pretty old and dusty in the US and has lost a lot of meaning to someone isolated from that branch of political theory, thanks to the right's massive whitewashing campaign on labor and the left. Relabeling and rebranding and shifting language to the modern definitions can help spread your ideas much better. America doesn't even know what it doesn't know about leftist thinking, just that they were told it was Marxist-Leninism, Maoism, Khmer Rouge, and North Korea as their only examples. The problem is liberals and leftists are both correct in their definitions of capitalism and socialism. There are so many varying definitions, they could be referring to two completely different things using the same word and be appalled at the other person. Many socialists have updated their ideas on labor, property, and money to embrace the free market and some amount of income inequality, so long as the wealth can't be hoarded and passed on, thanks to behavioral science and psychology. But labor studies have also given us good reasons to listen to other ideas the leftists had. We must cut through the language barrier of dead philosophers. I'm getting really tired of leftists dissing liberals, claiming that if Democrats want leftists to vote, they need to run leftists. Bitch, please, we didn't even have a leftist movement in America until halfway through the primary. You've been activists for one election cycle. Of course they aren't running leftists. Until now, you weren't even a viable movement until last year. Your movement is at best about a year and a half old. Get over yourselves and create a track record and give the Democratic Party some time to adjust to your movement. If you stay strong, active, and have momentum, and actually vote in every damn election possible, in a presidential election cycle, they will be more friendly toward your movement than ever before. Until then, quit your bitching. You're a baby movement that has to go through all the hard work every single other movement has had to do throughout history. Liberals love the free market, and behavioral science shows it's a very effective way to get certain goods to people who need them the most, but only if the playing field is level, and there's no hoarding and imbalance, but not the best for all things, such as emergency expenditures like healthcare, or things one really can't plan, because psychologists say we're intuitively terrible at planning for things like unemployment, recession, or retirement. Liberals get very angry at leftists who hate capitalism. Their word the left uses for capitalism is corporatism, even though if you look up in Wikipedia, it actually means something completely different and inspired anarcho-syndicalism. Define all terms before you go into any discussion of political and economic theory, especially if you're a member of the leftist group, as you guys are in America a baby movement. Instead of getting mad at liberals, they may actually agree with you and they will realize that Marx guy actually had some good ideas that hold true today, even if he, like Darwin, got some things wrong just due to our lack of science and research at the time.